So now I'm going to move on to some herbs that, yes, question.
Says warmer individual.
Okay, so in traditional medicine, you look at hot, cold, damp, and dry as it presents in individuals. So some people, probably half the room here, will be the first person to take off their jacket in a room of people. Those are the people that run a little bit warmer. And then you have cooler individuals, maybe pale, anemic, a little bit on the depressed side. So I'm always looking for those energetics in people and then matching them to herbs. So rhodiola is a cooling herb, so it's good for those people who are kind of excess patterns, maybe a little hot-headed, but the first person to take their jacket off in the room. Okay, so moving on to sleep supportive herbs. These are on the back of the handout, and they're not considered adaptogens, but they're really great for helping a person relax, wind down. For people with chronic sleep issues, they're a great adjunct to your adaptogen herbs. You might not want to take some of the adaptogens at night, but you'll take them in the morning, and then you'll do these sleep supportive herbs later at night with maybe a nighttime ritual, brewing some tea, reading a really boring book, making sure all the lights are down. If you have occasional sleeplessness, these are really great to keep on hand in your medicine cabinet. The first herb is passion flower, and this is a really beautiful herb. There's a picture of it on the sleep and relax tea that's out on the table out there. It's really great for the person who at night just cannot shut off their minds. I call them cerebral chatterbrains. They're just mulling over the day and they cannot shut their mind off. So passion flower would be very helpful there. It's also good for any kind of irritability, twitching, tremors, anything in the muscles that's getting in the way of you being able to shut off. The next herb is chamomile. I'm sure most of you in here have tried chamomile. It's great because it's gentle and calming, so both children and adults can use it. But it's also one of our best herbs for GI inflammation, or any kind of GI upset. Anytime there's heat, irritation, inflammation in the GI. So this would be good for the person with IBS that can't sleep at night because their stomach is just cramping up. The next herb is milky oats, or Avena sativa. Now, this is the best herb that we have in Western herbalism to really restore the nervous system. So it's best taken over long periods of time, almost like a food. Actually, you can eat some old-fashioned oats and have similar effects. So maybe instead of oats for breakfast, you should be thinking about oats for dessert.
Oatmeal cookies.
Without sugar. So the milky oat person is the person who's just burning the candles at both ends. And when they get tired, everything just seems like a little bit too much. So milky oats can be really helpful for that situation. Next is kava, and this is a great plant from the Pacific Islands. It's a little bit stronger in terms of sleep supportive herbs, but when taken 30 minutes before bed, it can really help alleviate insomnia and increase your slow wave sleep. It's good for people who hold their stress in their muscles and their bones, so people who are very tense and tight need to relax. It can be really great for those situations. The next herb is skullcap. I think about skullcap as a combination of milky oats and passion flower. It's like milky oats in the way that it can be a great nerve tonic for long-term really restoring the nervous system. And then it's like passion flower because it's good for those kind of irritable, tense, twitching patterns. So it can be good for restless leg syndrome, mild Tourette syndrome, and other tremors. Next is lavender. So most people know lavender as a scent, and it's actually wonderful as for aromatherapy. I know Dr. Ross likes to put a little bit of oil underneath his feet before he sleeps. That can be great. But you can also take it as a tea and a tincture in small amounts. And I think about lavender for people who are experiencing sadness or grief, and that's really what's keeping them up at night. It's a great heart tonic. Next is California poppy. And this is really good for the people who are awake at night because of pain, or obsessive thoughts, or any kind of darkness, a little bit of depression. It can really help patterns of anxiety and also adult ADHD. So this can be a tea or a tincture herb too. Finally is St. John's wort, and this herb has kind of been pigeonholed as an antidepressive herb, but traditionally it was used as a nerve tonic. So this is great for the person who just says, I'm fried. My nerves are totally fried. I'm frazzled. So that is the St. John's wort person. It can be really uplifting and good for things like neuropathy or any kind of burning in the legs that you're feeling at night. Because it can interact with some medications, I would check with your practitioner before taking it. But I wouldn't push it to the side. It's a great herb. So I'm going to turn it back over to Dr. Ross, and I'll be hanging out after for about an hour if you have any questions about herbs. All right? Thank you.